We will not let his life be in vain. We will carry on. Those were the words of the commander of the Thai Navy SEALs today after it was revealed a rescuer had died during an operation to save 12 boys and their coach from a flooded cave complex. The man died on Thursday night after entering the cave to lay oxygen tanks along a potential exit route, the only way out. It's going to be a hell of a job getting them out, and they are putting oxygen tanks there in readiness. Correspondent Richard Uhrlich is in Thailand, and I asked him if this death stressed the magnitude of the task facing the rescuers.
Yes, and this is the worst case, that everyone had feared that somebody would perish. And, of course, all eyes were on these 12 boys and their coach. And I don't think anyone expected the experienced SEAL divers to have this kind of a problem. Now, he's a 38-year-old former SEAL, which means he had been trained in underwater maneuvers, this kind of thing. And they said that he was, actively a jogger, a bicyclist. He was in excellent condition, and that he lost consciousness from a lack of oxygen while he was placing oxygen tanks all along the route of this underground river, which is rushing through this cave. And what they had been trying to do is lay a long cable, a rope, from where the 13 people are trapped all the way along this 4 kilometers out to the entrance, so that the boys who don't have scuba diving experience could strap on a face mask. Essentially, it looks like a gas mask, which allows them to receive oxygen from an umbilical cord tied to 2 Navy SEAL divers who would escort them. And they would merely walk on the bottom of this underground river the entire length of the way, accompanied by their escorts. At some point in the middle of all this, there is an area where the roof, the ceiling, the limestone rock ceiling veers down so sharply to the floor, it almost touches the ground. You have to take off your equipment, and this is the dangerous part. Now, we don't know where this former SEAL died, but he was laying down these tanks, supposedly every 25 meters. If anybody runs out of oxygen, there's a nearby tank to grab, and he himself died about 8 hours ago. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning here.
Richard, one of the really sobering things about this is that he was with a buddy. And so the buddy, who also was a Navy SEAL or a former Navy SEAL or a highly trained scuba diver with the experience of caving too, was unable to save him. Now, these were 2 people who knew what they were doing, whereas with the football team and their coach, we are dealing with people who have absolutely no idea how to handle the situation. So it really is an imposing prospect now, isn't it, getting those children out?
Yes, and we're still wondering, why this former SEAL did lose oxygen. Now, when you do your scuba diving, of course, he's equipped with a wristwatch and other equipment that tells him how much time he's been down there, how much oxygen he has, what the pressure is, and this kind of gauges that he can look at and refer to. But the problem with this water is it's so muddy, and it's, of course, so dark in the cave, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. So did he run out of air because he wasn't able to monitor his own watch? Did he hit his head in the fast current against a rock? Because this is all stalactites hanging down from the ceiling, stalagmites coming up from the ground. This is yet to be determined what exactly caused him to fall unconscious.
So much euphoria when the boys and their coach were found alive, and a sense that this had been solved, that the trip out would not be nearly as hard as the rescue mission to find them. And now I guess people must be feeling very, very tense again after this news.
Well, this is the worst case, and this is it takes them several hours, skilled divers, to go from the entrance to reach them. They have to swim upstream, essentially, and it takes them about 4 hours to come back down. And this is a professional diver moving right along. And, of course, taking one of these kids out, it's going to be a much slower thing. But now, who wants to take a vulnerable child who has no experience like this, who's also traumatized from the entire problem that he's had for the past 2 weeks, and also malnourished and weakened. Who wants to take them out under these conditions when this person has died? And the only other alternative, of course, is having them sit there longer. But the problem now we have is the monsoon is coming back, and it could dump rain later today, tomorrow, the next day, but it's supposedly coming within days. And they think that this could cause so much flooding that, again, these 13 people, who are now assisted by a handful of Navy SEALs and medical staff that are also with them, they could be cut off again and wouldn't be able to receive food or any other supply. So they're stockpiling food against that danger.
Richard Uhrlich, it's a most amazing situation. We've been told for days now that it is very, very difficult to get those 12 young schoolboys out and their coach, and this really does give a terrible demonstration of just how difficult it is.